Greetings YouTube, I thought I'd go over the various specs and bits of information we've got so far on the PS5, the controller and everything. Thought I'd get it done all in one video rather than splitting it up. So, first thing I'm going to say is that a lot of these technical specs for the PS5 don't mean much to me. A lot of the central processing system, there's a lot of technical numbers and stuff that I don't understand. The one that I do understand is the memory, where the RAM, the memory that the program opens into, as opposed to the stuff that your games are saved on your hard drive. But the PS4 memory apparently has 8 gigabytes in it, which is the same as my tabletop computer. The new PS5 will have 16 gigabytes, so twice as much. I have actually been looking at other computers online over the past few months, and when you go from 8 gig to 16 gig, the price goes up by several £100. It's quite a step up in capability, so might be, obviously this and everything else is part of the reason why the new console is probably going to be really expensive. But all the thing about the cores and teraflops, I don't know what that means, but all the numbers are higher on those as well. So yeah, it's going to probably be a bit of a monster. Apparently it's going to be on par with like top end PCs, not right at the very top, but getting into the upper range. It's not going to be as good as PCs, obviously, because PCs are always ahead. Anyway, internal storage. That's the one thing that was bothering me, because I believe that the past 2 consoles have had hard drives in them, and every time we get a hard drive in it, for some reason the hard drive is just big enough to hold 8 or 10 games, based on the memory capacity of memory requirement of the games that are released when the console is. But apparently the PS5 is going to have an 825 gigabyte hard drive, which is not much higher than when the PS4 released, because that, as I say, that released with a 500 gig. I've got a 2 terabyte hard drive in that console down there. It's usually 3/4 full. But having said that, from what I understand, the PS5 is not only going to have this 825 customized hard drive in it, which, by the way, it's not a hard drive, it's a solid state drive, which is the way faster one. Apparently it's got no moving parts. Again, I'm not a tech buff, but you're going to have that solid state drive, 825 gig. Unlike the PS4 though, you're not going to have to replace it. It sounds like you're going to have an extra slot for a second solid state drive that you can just plug in as well, and obviously that can be whatever memory size you want. So, and then I didn't know the PS4 could do this, but apparently you can plug a hard drive into it via USB. I didn't know it could do that, the PS4. Apparently the PS5 is going to be able to do it as well. So the PS5, from what it sounds like to me, is you're going to be able to have 3 hard drives plugged into it. And 2 of them are going to be solid state, so the faster ones. So everything about this console suggests it's going to be way faster, way more powerful, which I suppose is going to let developers do more with their visuals and their sound and whatnot. I mean, I maintain that visuals and sound do not a game make. It's all about how it plays, as far as I'm concerned. I love games like Axiom Verge and Fez, and you know, the old school pixely type things. But I'm not going to complain at the better visuals and sound. And dear, speaking of sound, apparently this console is going to have, apparently it's going to have 3D sound, whatever that means. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work though, because apparently this 3D sound will even work through your TV speakers, so you won't need like surround sound speakers, you know, dotted all around your room. I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to support 4K resolution, the ultra high definition stuff, of course, in terms of visuals, assuming that you have a 4K TV, which I don't. It's only HD is mine, 1080. And given the size of my setup, there's no way I'm getting a 4K TV because I'm not going to be able to see the detail. There's no point. About the controller, I don't have a problem with the visual design of the controller. I know a lot of people are because, you know, it's not black. It's really dusty, but it is supposed to be black. I'll grant you it's more grey. The battery and the trigger started to fail on me on this one, so I got another one, and I picked a blue one. So I'm not married to the idea of it being black. So I don't mind it being this white and black with a blue light bar. Apparently the light bar is going to be something around there or something instead of there. I don't see the point in this light bar because when I'm playing the game, the light bar is on the other side of the controller and I can't see it, and I'm not doing this just to look at it all the time. But yeah, I'm not bothered about the colour scheme. The controller did appear a little bit fatter originally to my eye when I first looked at it, but I think they've curved this bit out a bit on both sides, and this isn't straight on the top. They've curved it out a bit there. So it's not actually, and it's a bit, I think it's a bit thinner here as well. So the controller sort of shifted that way a little bit outwards. It's not that the controller is bigger like I originally thought. It's just that they've tweaked it. You're going to apparently be able to plug it in to your controller via USB-C connection. That's the same kind of thing you probably have on your smartphone. Most people have a smartphone. The little really small rectangular connection, except instead of square edges it's got like round edges. Super fast data transfer and charging basically. What else? I'm gonna have to look at my list here. So apparently up until now we've had like a DualShock, and this new controller will have DualSense, so they've changed the name. Apparently it's going to have something called haptic feedback. Apparently you're going to be able to tell the difference, for example, if the car in the game is driving through mud as opposed to driving over tarmac. Apparently the triggers are going to be adaptive triggers. You're going to be able to program them so that the triggers resist you different amounts. The example they used is pulling a bowstring back and it resisting you the more you pulled it back. You know, I'm just naturally skeptical whenever they put a new feature on a pad. I'm not saying the touchpad is a bad thing. I'm just saying that whenever they try a new feature on a pad, I'm just automatically thinking, is this going to be as good as you say it is? Because you saying it good and we thinking it's good is two different things. And then of course the software people have to get involved. I know that game developers have really wanted a solid state drive in the game consoles. I know the Xbox, whatever it's called, I've lost track of which Xbox is which now, but the developers have been crying out for the solid state drive to be in there. What else? Your gamepad is apparently going to retain the audio jack, the 3.5mm audio connection, so you can plug your headphones directly into the controller. You're still going to have that. Some people were worried about that because they couldn't see it on the pictures, but it is going to be there. And the share button has been replaced by the create button, which will do everything the share button did plus a few other things which they haven't explained about. They haven't told us what those extra things are yet, so I don't use the share button, you see, because, well, I have a capture card and editing software, so that's how I do it. I don't use the console's native system. And three more things. This isn't stuff that Sony have said, but apparently Sony have taken out some patents. So they may or may not do these things. Apparently they've taken out patents for wireless charging of the controller, presumably. So no idea if they're going to do that, but they've left the door open. Biometric sensors, like things like measuring the amount of sweat and your heart rate, so the game will presumably be able to give you some sort of feedback again if the software developers take advantage of it. Again, just patents, not guaranteed. They haven't said they're doing this. And voice control. Now, voice control is something they probably will do, because you can already voice control the PS4 if you have your headset in. And the new controller, the PS4 controller, already has a speaker grill in, which I always turn off because I hate it. It's really weird hearing noise from there and then suddenly and doing noise in your hand. I turn it off. But the new controller apparently is also going to have a microphone in it, so you won't necessarily need a pair of headphones, to communicate with your friends when you're online with them. So you won't have to have a dedicated pair of headphones anymore. I think that's about it. Everything that I wanted to mention. Oh no, it's staring me in the face. I'm stupid. There's one more thing. In the past few days, there allegedly, sources have said that the PS5 console is going to be limited to about 6 million. That would be a poor do. 6 million units in its first year. And apparently the PS4 sold just over 7 million units in the first 6 months when it went on sale. And it went on to sell massively successfully, did that. So I'm looking at that 6 million units at launch for the first year, and I'm thinking, a lot of people are going to miss out unless they pre-order. This is going to be one of these things that you're going to have to get in the queue early. Otherwise, you're going to run it. Everywhere's going to run out, aren't they? That'll probably happen regardless, but it's going to be extra important to get in the queue. So it's still apparently set to launch winter this year, is this console. Honestly, I wasn't expecting the console, either this or the next Xbox console, to launch so soon. I was expecting it to take a little bit longer, but whatever. I think I'm done blabbering on about it now. Specs are looking pretty good, what I can interpret. Controller redesign doesn't bother me. The console is probably going to look like the controller as well. But again, I don't really care what it looks like. I care how it plays, which means it's going to need both the hardware and the software. Which begs the question, what games we're going to get at launch. Usually we get like 1 or 2 good ones and 1 or 2 crap ones, as they try and rush them out for launch. Which is a pity, because I wish they wouldn't rush games. Crunch is a bad thing. Anyway, I'm done blathering now about it. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe and share, all that jazz. See you next time.